Alright, so we're back in Maya, and before you actually start modeling, 9 times out of 10 you tend to bring in a reference image so you can see it all the time when you're modeling. And the way to do that is hit the space bar and you go to one of these views here. Now, normally you have what's known as image planes where you can bring in the front view, a side view, a top view, and but in this case we don't have the image from all these views, and so sometimes when you're working on a project you may only be given an image with one view, and so you've got to use your experience and your artistic instinct to figure out what it looks like from the top or from the side. Now, most times it's fairly obvious, and if not, you can just go online and do some research and collect your own reference images. So this is a fairly simple robot character we're doing, and so even if you're not sure what the back's going to look like, you can always make it up. And so anyway, so to bring in an image, what you can do, you can go to view, and it says image plane, import image. Now when it says that import image, I'm just going to show you again. So view, image plane, import image. So when it says import image, click on it. It should bring up source images. Now I've included this JPEG in the tutorial here. Make sure you drop it in the source images so it appears, and when you click on it you can see it, and then just open it up, and there you go, you got your image in here and you can see it in your perspective view. Now it always lands right in the center, which isn't a good position, because if you start modeling, say let's grab this cube, you can see that the image gets in the way. So you can select the image, I'm going to hit W for move, and then just push the image back so it's not in the way, and that's fine because it doesn't affect the front view. Now another thing you can do is you can go to show here and switch off the image plane in the perspective so it doesn't get in the way. However, it still appears here in the front view, which is important really because it's the front view that we really want. Now another thing is to recognize the fact that this dark horizontal line here is the ground. So what you can do is grab the image and move it up so the character is like, on the ground like this. Now obviously it kind of looks like as though it's below the ground, but in real life these toes will be sticking forward and not down, so you've got to remember that. So really the bottom of the foot really is here, and these are just sticking out to the side, but we'll get into that later. And there you go. Another thing you can do is you can make it bigger or smaller, because in Maya by default the grid here, you can see each little square is 1 centimeter. So if we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. You're saying that this robot is about 18 centimeters, which is what, 6 inches, something like that. So it's kind of small, it's like a toy. However, if you want it to be bigger, you can scale it up. So you might be asking yourself, well, what's the point? Well, the thing is, when it comes to lighting and rendering, Maya behaves differently according to the size of your object. So in some cases, you do need your model to be real world size. So for example, let's say this is a proper robot, like a robot warrior that's about 6 or 7 feet tall. You want it to be 6 or 7 feet, so really big. Now normally I tend to kind of not go for real world size, but kind of medium, or like maybe a third of the size or half. But this is too small. The uh, 18 centimeters. Now a couple of things you can do. You can click on this little orange guy here, and just got to wait for a second, and then the options comes up, and you can go to the settings, and here centimeters you can change it to sort of like meters, inch, feet, yards, and like so if he's like 6 feet, you can click on foot, and the grid will be bigger. It'll just, and then you can just like scale him up to like 6 feet, so it'll be six of these squares. I could just closed it off, and I like to stick to just the centimeters, which is the default. And what you can do instead is just make it a bit bigger. Now, if you want to make sure it's a particular or a specific size, what you can do is go to, where are we? Create measure tools, distance tools, and so you can click on the ground there, and then hold down Shift and click up. So it gives you like a straight line, and you want this second cross here that you've created, and in the middle here it tells you the distance. So this is 34.2 centimeters. So you might say, well, I want it to be like 50. So just bring it up, and there you go, 50.1. That'll do. So you say, well, 50 centimeters is what I want. So now you can grab this image here and then just like scale it up until it kind of reaches the top here. So it's more or less reached the top there. Just a bit more. Bang. There we go. So it's just a bit below 50. Make it a bit bigger. There you go. Let's bring it up about there. So it's more or less 50. So once you're happy with it, go into the outliner, and this is why the outliner is important, because it allows you to select certain aspects of your scene. Like here, I want to select all the parts that make up the distance tool. So I hold down Shift because there's 3 aspects we need to select, and then just hit delete, and it's gone because it's done its job. Now we can close the outliner, and there you go. So we now know. Let's just show you in the perspective view. We now know that this is 50 centimeters tall, and there you go. And so Control S, save your scene, and we can just delete this cube for now. There we go. And so let's save the scene again, and there we go. So now we're set up and we're ready to start modeling.